I've been working to get my PlayStation to load faster. Like I restarted it, as in completely like power shut down and all that to help it like recompile its library and everything. But I don't know what to do. I mean, it shouldn't be going this slow, right? Because yeah, the loading time doesn't affect our in-game time, it just affects my splits, and for Spyro that doesn't matter. For games like The Last Guardian, it does really matter, and it's the reason that I stopped competing in The Last Guardian, even though I don't have first. Because, you know, if I can't control the loading time, or my loading time is longer than it should be, and the record is using real time, then what can I do? Except for try to figure out why the loads are so long. Because we do not have a lot of games on here. I mean, we play a lot of games, but this is a PS4 Pro and it's brand new, so it doesn't have a lot of our older games that the other PlayStation did. And they're in the cloud. So the ones that we haven't played for a while are only in the cloud, right? They're not downloaded onto the PlayStation. I don't think. Ooh, that was not a good skip. Because our core base of gaming is like 10 games. And only like 2 or 3 of them, maybe, are not on disc. I mean, I understand that the PlayStation still has to download things, even if it's on a disc. But that's different than like Hollow Knight or Salt and Sanctuary just being like downloaded onto the PlayStation, and then that's just the only place you have them. But I'm not an expert on how these things work. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they all take up the same amount of space. I see the garbage man is here, like 8 hours after he's supposed to be. He's only here late when we don't put our trash out, because we don't make very much trash. On the days, or on the weeks when we do need to put our trash out, he comes at like 4 in the morning. And it's like, well, because we're not supposed to put it out the night before, according to the, like, community rules or whatever. So it's only when we need it that he shows up at 4 in the morning. I need to do a little bit more testing about some of these places where I turn around, because I'm hitting walls sort of a lot. And I know it's only like a second maybe that you lose, but do that 10 times, you know, and you can negate some of the gains that you made in a level. I saw someone do a different proxy. I'm not going to try it because I haven't had time to practice it. I did have time to practice a lot of Spyro, but I saw that proxy after I had practiced. So I'm not going to try it. I'm going to try to do the one that I just normally do, the one that's much slower. But if I could get that one, if I could get any of the ones that I've seen, you know? But it seems really precise. Like, you don't have much time to position yourself. You basically just run up, do it. If you didn't do it, too bad for you. As opposed to the one I do, where I can sort of wiggle a little bit. That was good. I'm glad that we just got that going right away. I'm not glad that that guy was such an asshole. The time save was because we didn't get the proxy last time. I'm feeling good about this. I'm really hopeful for today's runs. I've been looking forward to it. And I mean, I don't want to come across as like I stream and don't like it. That's not true. It's just sometimes you stream things where you're like, well, this is what I do, so I'm gonna do it. But you actually want to be streaming something else. I really, really am so close to Pantheon of Nost, from Hollow Knight. And so I've been definitely like, all I want to do is keep practicing that until I get it. But I did do some Spyro practice, and that made me feel pretty good about it, so I'm excited to do this run today. Hopefully we only need one, right? Because if I get my 80 Dragons goal time, then I'll switch back to 80%, and I definitely need practice with that, now that I haven't done it for a while. I almost one-cycled that guy. I did do it, during one of my worst runs. I did one-cycle him. And I was like, of course, during one of my most awful runs, that's when I get that to happen. I was really hoping for that not to happen. I just shouldn't try to do that. Because I thought about it as I went across, because that's happened before. And I don't think it's worth it for the little bit of extra time that you get. On the bright side, I suppose I got some extra gems from falling down there and then having to go up the stairs. Gotta look on the bright side, right? I'm still concerned about Maximus in Dry Canyon, but since we're taking a different route through Night Flight, if we can get Maximus, we're gonna be good for quite a while, I think. As far as like places where the run can die. A little bit of time save, which, I mean, there's not much you can do to save time in Toasty, so that's welcome to see. prefer doing this way. I know a lot of people don't, but I prefer to go to Artisans after Thirsty.
Are you ready to go?
Okay, so here's Dry Canyon. Knock on wood, I haven't had a problem with the Maximus jump for a while. I practiced Twilight Harbor last night and Haunted Towers as far as supercharges, and I think I've got them down, or at least down better. But if Twilight Harbor, if we can't get that, that's going to be real unfortunate, you know? Because I did a bit of experimentation as far as like what I typically want to do with that supercharge and what you actually need to do, so that I'm aware of my own proclivities for disaster, so to speak. Because that's one of the most important things to understand about speedrunning, challenge gaming, all of this stuff that has very tight margins of error. You have to understand what your brain wants to do. Because you can understand what you're supposed to do and still not do that. So you have to understand yourself. I'm a little upset that that thing didn't blow up when it was supposed to. So we've got slightly new routing in this level, but we'll worry about Maximus first. Now normally I would go through Boris for 80 dragons, but we're gonna go this way. Okay, and we made it to Maximus. So now we're going back here. And then here. And then here. And running into this. I'll grab this guy. And then this guy. So there you go. That is a better time save. And it lets us worry about Maximus earlier in the level, so if we are going to miss him, we don't spend as much time before we realize that we are. I'm gonna reach over here real quick and get my water. Okay. One of the benefits of streaming, at least for me, I tend to be one of those people that doesn't drink anything, ever. But when I stream, I get thirsty. So it helps me stay hydrated. Also have a slightly different routing for this level. I'm excited to try this out, see how much time it saves. I think it's going to be pretty good. I did practice doing these stairs But as you can see, I still need more practice. And I went the wrong way. I'm supposed to get these ladies first. We actually lost a little bit of time there. I couldn't get the jump up. Hi, Elzuri. Thank you for the good luck. I'm feeling pretty good about this run, but good luck is always welcome. We've still got a lot of challenging areas. We are taking the easier route in Night Flight because I will not sacrifice this run to that stupid crystal that I always run into. And just before I started this, I did run through Night Flight to make sure that I knew what that route was, the easier route. It's gonna cost us a little bit of time, but it's gonna be way safer. I'm thinking about 4 seconds is what it's gonna cost. Normally we would go up and get that lighthouse. Now we are going this way. Oh, we actually saved time. Yeah, Alzeri, the flight levels they tend to be the hardest for people. Like, even when like you're an adult and you're playing, they're still the hardest. Because you don't realize how specific you do have to be. Their timing is actually, like the time that they give you to finish it is actually pretty tight. And it's even more tight in Spyro 3. Because I remember playing through like this version of Spyro 3, this remaster, and I don't think there was a single flight level that I did on my first try, even now, because they're quite hard. I think probably the only level that gives people more problems in Spyro 1 is Treetops. Lots of people can't quite figure out how to get to Jed in Treetops. Sparks, yeah, he got me that 10. Wow, why did we save so much time? Oh, because I died in Shemp. I remember that I glitched through the floor and fell to my death. So what have you been up to, Elzuri? Anything interesting going on? Ridge Racer Type 4. I've never heard of that. What is it? PS1 racing game. I gotta admit, the only racing game that I played on PS1, I'm 99% sure it was PS1, was Crash Team Racing. I never really had anybody to play racing games with. I think that's why I never played them too much. Oh my goodness. That was not good. Where am I? All the way back at the beginning of the level? Oh yeah, I got a dragon, I forgot. Can we make it this time? I'm not even gonna chance it, I'm just gonna run around. I did practice charge jumping these as well, but I'm still not 100% on it, and especially since we just lost time, I should just go. Yeah, we lost a lot of the time save, but in the end we're still not that bad. I like that saving 0 time to 0.1 seconds is a gold split, because it's so consistent otherwise. I'm trying to think of what I used to play all the time on the PlayStation 1. I remember Legend of Dragoon. I would play that all the time. And I'm gonna speedrun that at some point. What else? I mean, obviously Spyro, right? And Crash. Oh, Skull Monkeys. I would bet money that nobody who watches my channel has ever heard of Skull Monkeys, let alone played it. It was a really niche thing. I loved that game. It's super hard. It's like a claymation video game. It's really interesting. It has its own sort of style, and I have never seen anything even remotely like it since. It's a platformer. And then like Croc was a platformer that I always played. That one was also really hard. But, you know, as it tends to be, the older the game, the harder it tends to be. So that's why Croc and Skull Monkeys were so hard. But I think there's a second, I'm not gonna make this. Ooh, I made it. I think there's a second Skull Monkeys. What is it called? Oh, it's like Skull Monkeys Journey to the Neverhood or something. That was not the one that I played. But yeah, if you're into really like niche sort of games, that's definitely one to check out. It was really cool. You played Croc too? Yeah, it was really hard. That sucks that your brother broke your copy. I had... Actually, now that I think about it, it was my Skull Monkeys that I lent to somebody in middle school. And yeah, they ended up losing it. So actually, my fiance just got it for me for Christmas, this last Christmas. Like another copy of Skull Monkeys to replace the one that got lost. Unfortunately, because it was such a niche thing, Skull Monkeys now cost like $50 on PlayStation 1. I don't even remember the end of Croc, though. I just remember it being really hard, and I remember those little gobbo things that you had to rescue that look like little fuzzballs. I have no idea what happens if you save them all. I have no idea what happened. Like, what are you even... I don't even remember what you're supposed to do. Is it collecting things besides gobbos? All I remember is that I had a ton of fun playing it. Isn't that funny how memories of when you're frustrated last so much better? Like, they really stick with you. That was good cycling on those wizards. Oops, I missed that 10 chest. Good time save again. Two years to figure it out. Yeah, I remember, like, before YouTube, things were so much harder, right? Because you had to buy the strategy guide or whatever. But I know there was some video game where the same thing happened to me. Like, it took me multiple years to figure out a puzzle. I'm trying to remember what it was. I do remember playing a Fire Emblem game, and I'm one of those people who, when you play Fire Emblem, if somebody dies, I restart so that everybody lives. Like, I keep doing the quest until I can do it with everybody surviving. And I remember making a mistake in the final battle of the game, and my favorite character died because I took an extra turn that I didn't need to take. And I remember being like so upset because he was my favorite, and you can't see like his after the story in the epilogue if he's dead. But thankfully, at that point, YouTube was a thing. And so I felt like I cheated, you know, because I got to see his epilogue without having actually kept him alive. If you're 19, I feel like you were just right on the cusp of when strategy guides, like, vanished. I mean, they're still around. But yeah, I guess by the time that you would have been old enough to play, right? Like, they would have been around when you were born, because YouTube would not have been around, but by the time you were old enough. I still sometimes want to buy strategy guides for games just because they have cool art and stuff like that. I remember cherishing my Legend of Dragoon strategy guide because it had like full page pictures and stuff, and that was by far my favorite game growing up. Okay, can I just not crash in Crystal Flight, please? It's happened the last few times where I get stuck on the arch or the plane doesn't blow up or whatever and then I have to restart. We can have a really, really good time save if I could just do this like normal. But nope, I can't. Of course. I might be able to salvage it. I did salvage it. Flight levels are my specialty. They're what I originally competed in Spyro. But I don't run them as aggressively as I would, you know, if I were running for a world record. Because failing them means losing a minute or more. But I'm always tempted to just try to cut corners like you would if you're just competing for the flight level world record, and that can come back to bite me. That's why I had to modify my night flight. Because the night flight that I was doing was just too risky. Too many runs were dying to it for the sake of 2 seconds time save. But that does put me at an advantage for like any percent. And I guess for this a little bit, right? Because when I'm running Sunny Flight, or like when I'm running Wild Flight, right? Because I am the holder of the Wild Flight world record alongside someone else, because we are tied. So I basically know that I have an advantage over everybody else, at least in that sense. So my run, when it comes to flight levels, is going to be a few seconds faster. Unfortunately, that's all the better you can really do, is a few seconds. Oh, I could have been up here in one go, but I was a little too careful. How many times do I have to give you this lecture about picking up this guy's 10? Would have saved a lot of time, obviously, if I could have just gotten him there. How did we save 0.9 and we're still at 1 minute 12 saved? Admittedly, I am not good at math, but... Any estimate how much flight levels could be improved? Right now, we basically have the most optimized routes. That being said, just like 2 weeks ago or so, Aerojorma, the guy who I share the wild flight world record with,
Would you like to go?
made one very, very slight change. He just got a plane and a chest in opposite order, and that was able to save half a second. Which half a second at this point is a huge time save. But I don't really think that we're going to see any more changes to routing, and so therefore no more improvement. Especially Sunny Flight. Because Sunny Flight already requires that you exploit a pretty inconsistent glitch. So I don't think that's going to get any better than Jordy's 108.2. I haven't even been able to get my own 108.4 again since I got it. Sorry, the splits flashed. I wanted to make sure I was clicked into them, so I minimized them for a second. I was thinking about maybe running some flight levels later today, because my rankings are dropping below what I would like. I have first in one, second in another, but then I have like 4th, 6th, 7th. I can do better than that. Because I used to be like, you know, 3rd and 4th in most of them, and then others pushed me down. But that's how I started running Spyro. I used to be just a flight level runner. I hit my flame button, and he didn't flame, which is why I got hit. Because I did just sort of come to a stop in front of him, which I did because I wanted to just flame him. Come here, chicken. Please eat the chicken sparks. Thank you. Let's go. Okay. I've done all this hype up about Wild Flight, right? Being my specialty. And now we're on Wild Flight, and watch me not do very well on it. Woo! Camera was being a bit weird there. There's, oh, if I was gonna get hit, I was just gonna say, there's a faster way to do that by taking a damage there, but I don't want to take a damage. And if I was gonna get hit, I might as well have just done the faster way. Okay. So we are gonna intentionally crash in Wild Flight to get my sparks back. Because right after Wild Flight is Misty Bog, and we absolutely need a gold sparks. even with gold sparks, I might end up dying in Misty Bog anyway. There's a faster way to do that little bit. I don't do it because, just like with Night Flight, if you try to do the world record routing, it's very dangerous and easy to fail. For the sake of, you know, what, a second at most. A good time. 46.2. What is my 44.9 is the current world record. So being that close is pretty good. I've done better, just in like in an 80 dragons or any percent, but I'm happy with that. I don't know why we lost so much time. I guess it was just because we crashed, right? But the crash doesn't actually affect us as much as it might appear to, because that's real time, and the whole time that Spyro is dead and respawning is not actually counting for in-game time, which is what matters. The timer confused you when you first came by? As far as, like, not understanding what the minuses meant and everything? Because I know sometimes when I watch speedrunners who use splits, not all of them look like mine. You know, sometimes they're showing slightly different things. And yeah, I get a bit confused looking at it and being like, what are you tracking here? Yeah, thankfully it's not real time, because I have another run, my Last Guardian run, that I've stopped doing for now because my PlayStation doesn't load fast enough. And I've been trying to figure that out. So until I figure it out, I can't really do runs that require real time, at least on the PlayStation. Spyro, get over the thing. I know I missed that frog, it's not worth it. He's worth just a few gems. And the alternative would be probably missing that frog and then losing my sparks. Sparks, my man. I got that for you. This room is always random. I didn't see that frog there. Well, that's fine. Good. Time save on Misty Bog is always what you want to see. We're doing really well. Our next opportunity to lose a lot of time is going to be in Haunted Towers. as we try to do the supercharge exploit. Because I practiced it. I promise I did. But that doesn't mean, really, that I'm gonna get it on the first try. Yeah, Alzeri, calling it I Want to Die. I think it's basically unquestioned at this point that every speedrunner hates Misty Bog. It's just a nightmare. All of the enemies have sort of wonky hitboxes. They can hit you from further away than you think they can. And just the level design is long and blech. But yeah, I spent about an hour yesterday practicing Haunted Towers, Twilight Harbor, that whole dealio. That was an unusually good supercharge. And now this guy's gonna make me lose all that time. I'm gonna see if I can do this supercharge exploit over into the next dragon. I guess I can't. I usually don't, so that doesn't particularly bother me. How did that flame go through that chicken? Yeah, I think Alzeri, everybody has their one or two levels where they're like, ugh, every time they get there. That used to be me with treetops, because I used to not be able, and I say used to as in like when I was a little kid, I used to not be able to remember how to finish it, because, you know, obviously I wasn't using that little trick that I just did to get to Jed. So you have to stack supercharges and everything like that, so. It doesn't count as a level, I suppose, because Shadow of the Colossus doesn't have levels. But in Shadow of the Colossus, that's one of my, please kill me, I don't want to do this. The 15th Colossus. I hate him so much. He always comes to mind when somebody's like, what level of a video game do you hate? He's not a level, but by God, I, like, just the thought of fighting the 15th Colossus makes me think, do I even want to play this game at all? And he's not that bad. Lots of people like him, but I don't know. He just doesn't gel with me. And I say that as somebody who played Shadow of the Colossus into the ground, you know? I pre-ordered the remastered version and got platinum in that right away, and I have so many save files from the PlayStation 2 version. It's weird that today those glides, like I've almost made them, and then a few times I have been like walking and then it says that I don't make it. I love it when that chicken survives that fireworks thing that I set off, because otherwise Sparks wants to get him, and it's super distracting. Some people end here once they get the dragon, but I want the gems. Ugh. No. Come on. Can I just have like some of these be green, please? Almost every time, I'm finishing Metalhead without a Sparks. Whoops. Missed quite a few gems there. Yeah, speaking, Alzeri, of completing things with glitches because you can't do it otherwise. There's a boss in Bloodborne in the Chalice dungeons that, yeah, I don't know how to beat him, and I do that every time. There's like an exploit you can use with one of the items, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna do this because I do not understand how to do this. If you use a beast roar, you can just keep knocking him down to the ground, and then like every time he gets up, you just roar him again, and he goes and falls down again, and I'm like, this isn't how you're supposed to do it, but whatever, he's dead.
Are you ready to go?
That's right, it works, and that's what matters. I have to remember to guidebook out of Haunted Towers. Because it's easy, it's habit, right? Because you see me exiting the levels through the menu instead of going through the return home portal. So it's habit to exit levels like that, but I do need to use the guidebook instead of doing that. Because if I don't, I'll come back out at the entrance of Haunted Towers and then I have to ride the whirlwinds, and that takes extra time. I do also have to remember to get that dragon that's over by the cannon guy. I missed him in a run, like I just left him behind entirely. And I think we do that after Lofty Castle. I think I determined that was the best time to do that. We're doing just fine on gems. So we should be able to speed right through Lofty Castle without worrying about gems at all. But we will see here in just a minute how much of my time I'm going to lose. How long will it take me to get this supercharge? Yeah, you were there for that, weren't you, Alzeri? You were like, why do you only have 79? And I was like, don't worry about it. Wait. Oops. I did make a mistake there. I need to get this dragon. Yeah, because I was so sure, right? I was like, it's just because Magnus hasn't counted. Don't worry about it. Oof, that was close, but that was quick to get that supercharge. So it looks, I think we're doing pretty good here. Yeah, look at that time save. Ooh, that's tasty. Oh, I didn't guidebook. I told you that I forget to guidebook. Gosh, dang it. It only costs a few seconds, but you see I have to ride this. And if I guidebooked, I would have started right over there where I entered the world. So... yeah, I complete 120 on this game, like, as, like, for fun, which is why I don't run 120. Because I don't want to know where everything is. This sort of spoils the fun of playing it. What's the... casually? Jeez, I couldn't think of that word. It spoils the fun of playing it casually when you know everything about it. So I will run any percent and I'll run 80 dragons, because any percent you don't have to know it all, and 80 dragons, from playing when I was little, I know all the dragons' names and all that. So I don't mind doing that. But I won't play 120. And I can't even imagine playing 120 on, like, Spyro 3 comes to mind. Because I'm still sort of playing through Spyro 3 just casually, for fun. And I'm finding it kind of hard, not gonna lie. Whoops! Well, about that. Get out of my way, you demon dog. I got places to be that I should have been already. Alright, well, we're gonna have to book it through Lofty Castle. But we can make that up. So obviously we lost a lot of time gain there by me falling to my death like a dum-dum. But again, not all of it was in-game time, so it's not quite as bad as it seems. Isn't that the worst when you, Alzeri, when you get a world record in a level and you're not recording? And you're like, I did it, I promise! I wish there was a way to like privately stream to Twitch so that I could constantly be, you know, recording in case that happens. But I guess you could privately stream to YouTube, I suppose. Yeah, we have 5600, so we can just skip Lofty, basically. So if we go, we should be able to have some time save here. I guess I can finally take Screw this level, aka Icy Flight, out of my splits, because I haven't had to do it in a long while. That little demon guy nearly knocked me to my death. Because I charged him, but he didn't die. Oh, that guy, oof. Sometimes the guy with the balloon will knock me like he did there, and it'll knock me like out of the air. And then I won't be able to get that second fairy, but thankfully the hitboxes were just right, and I was still able to get it. Still lost a little bit of time. That's too bad. Oh, I got a split for Icy Flight. If we can get the Twilight Harbor supercharge, I think we'll be pretty good to go here. It's hard to tell. Like, I can't check my in-game time, you know? I mean, I could, but I don't really think you're supposed to. I have to go get this dragon. Don't forget the dragon. I wanted more than one of those fives, but the universe said no. I would like to say, yes, never again will I forget that dragon. I cannot promise that. Okay, so 733 plus... Oh, I have to math in my head. I don't think we need the chest, right? Because, come on. Jacques is gonna give me, Jacques is gonna give me 150, and then I get, wait, no, Jacques is not gonna give me 150, he's gonna give me 100, so that's gonna be 833, 933 with an additional 100, yeah, I think we'll be fine. Oh dear. We'll be fine without the chest. Where is this other guy? Sir! Really? What? They're both down, but the thing didn't pop. You saw that, right? They were both flamed, but this thing on the top didn't pop. That was a huge waste of time. I'm not even gonna get that guy. I hope that my memory of how much Jacques gives is right. or else we're gonna be a bit short. It's 100 here. Oof, we were a bit short. I can fix... Wait. Okay. I got a plan. I just have to math for a minute. Okay. You guys. 5...
Well, are you ready to go?
Yeah. I split after I leave Dreamweavers, not after Jacques. Because normally, if you're not a dingus like me, you make sure you have 6,000 before you leave Jacques, so that you just turn and go to the balloonist. I gotta make sure Sparks eats that. Hey, Frog Mage! Welcome, you are just in time. We had a pretty good time save, as you can see, in Haunted Towers. We were 2 minutes ahead. And then that sort of went bye-bye. But I think we can still pull out a PB. How you been, Frog Mage? Just kill that guy, jeez. Yeah, I was so tired on, I guess that was yesterday, wasn't it? Because I forgot about daylight savings time. I guess not everybody here is necessarily in a place where you do daylight savings time, right? Because that's not a global thing. At least I think it's not. Alright, Twilight Harbor, Supercharge. Can we do it? I would like to think yes, because I practiced it. Does that mean we can do it? Not necessarily. I had it like 5 times in a row in practice, because that's how I practice things. Whether it's this, whether it's Hollow Knight, whatever. I practice things until I can do them a certain number of times in a row. And if I can't, I start over until I do get them, you know, in a row. So I got this Supercharge a bunch of times in a row. I would like to think that I can do it. I should have practiced it before I started today's run, though. Because I'm having a hard time remembering where I need to aim. Did it. Sweet. Didn't save that much time, but obviously not doing it would have cost us time, which I want to keep it at right about where we're at as far as time save. You know, I can't afford to lose anymore. If I can get the key guy, the second key guy early in Nork, and get Magnus skip, I think we'll be looking pretty good. We are aiming for sub 39:14 in game time. I had 39:24 and 39:29 on my last 2 runs. I couldn't get him early because I ran into the wall and I was kind of dragging along it a little bit. But at least I got him, instead of having to do the whole cycle. I gotta take Nasty wide so I don't accidentally run into him. I've had 2 runs die that way before I decided not worth it. Man, he gets here so far ahead of me. I should be able to do that faster. Little bit of time loss. Can we skip Magnus? Here's hoping. I don't know what constitutes skipping Magnus. Like, sometimes I hit him and it skips, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not really sure anybody does. Skipped. 39:07. Yas!